Okay. Hello, family members of a new college student. This is just going to be a few quick kind of heads up and tips for those who have a new college student in their family. I'm going to cover a few things on these PowerPoint slides and then add in just a couple of things, and then I'll give you my contact information at the end if you have any additional questions. I'm just going to touch on a few items about COVID-19 preparations at Peru State, some of the major differences between high school and college, and then what you can do as a family member to help your student. First, thank you. It's so important that you're watching this and that you're taking the time to read through these and learn. You're such a huge part of helping your college student be successful. About me, I'm Dr. Kristi Nies. I'm an assistant professor of English here. I've been at Peru State about 15 years now. I teach mainly freshmen in composition classes, and I really enjoy working with freshmen. It's one of the great honors of my life to meet them, sometimes in their very first college class, and then a few years later, watch them walk across the stage and get their diploma. It's wonderful. Again, at the end of this, I'll give my contact information if you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask. Okay, COVID-19 preparations at Peru State College. These are just a couple of the main ones. Classrooms will be set up to allow for social distancing. Masks will be provided for students. In fact, the first shipment arrived on campus today. They do have the Peru State logo on them. Everybody's going to be provided with two. The semester schedule, as you probably noted, the semester schedule is being altered. Classes will begin on August 17th. The semester will end on November 25th. So when everybody goes home for Thanksgiving, they don't have to come back for those couple weeks. We'll be done on November 25th. There'll be no classes on Labor Day, September 7th, but we're not going to have a midterm break this semester. Usually we have 2 days off in October, which counts as our midterm break. We're not going to have this. So it's just going to be a straight run through to Thanksgiving. Encourage your students to check their school email frequently during this time for any updates, new information. The administration is terrific about communicating, so make sure they're checking their college email. And also keep an eye out. There's going to be additional information sessions about COVID-19 preparations presented throughout the remainder of this summer. So keep an eye out for those as well. Okay. Let's talk about the main differences between high school and college. There are no campus-wide policies at Peru State College or most colleges for things like class attendance, cell phone in classes, things like that. Each professor will have their own policies, and those policies will be outlined in each class's syllabus. Your student is going to get a different syllabus for every class. That syllabus will have the classroom policies on it. Put your cell phones away, have them on silent. You have so many unexcused absences where you just don't have to show up, or you have to contact the instructor before every absence in order for it to be an excused absence. Okay, so each policy is going to be different. It's going to be like having 4 or 5 different bosses with different kinds of policies for their classroom. It's up to the student to know those policies. Another thing that parents sometimes ask about is midterm grades. We don't have midterm grades. Okay, we do not send out in the middle of the semester a grade report. Many, but not all professors post their student grades on Blackboard so the student can keep track of their progress. If your student has a question about their grade or how they're doing in a class, they need to ask the professor about that. And there's so much support and help available on campus. There's tutors, there's counselors, there's success coaches, there are RAs in residence life. There's so much help, but the student has to reach out for that help. And the sooner the student does that, the better. Okay? Those are kind of the main differences. And then also time management. Okay? Many of you may have already seen your student schedule, and you notice they may have 2 classes on Monday, Wednesday, 3 classes on Tuesday, Thursday. So on Monday, Wednesday, they may have a chunk of time between their 8 a.m. class and their 12:30 class. So managing that free time can sometimes be an issue, especially for freshmen. It sounds great. Oh, free time. I can go take a nap. I can go do this, things like that. But free time can become an issue if it's not kind of managed properly and folded into the course of the day. Oh, I've got some free time. Great. I can come out after class. I can head straight to the library, review my notes, catch up on some homework, and then go to lunch and then go to my next class. So that time management, start walking your student through their schedule, seeing where they've got some time in, and start thinking about what they're going to do with that time. How you can help your student, and this is probably the most important part. You may have sensed in that previous slide what the main theme is. The student is now responsible for themselves and their own success. That's the biggest transition and the biggest kind of stumbling block that I have seen in freshmen coming straight out of high school. In high school, everything was very segmented, regimented. You were told where to go, who you need to see, things like that. That's not the way it is in college. Student is responsible for reaching out for help, then following through with that. The student is responsible for knowing what their grades are. The student is responsible for getting themselves to class, for knowing what the different policies are. So the student is now responsible for their own success. And that is something right now to start talking to your student about, okay? Because in some ways, you know your student better than they know themselves. So what is the best way that you, as that student's family member, can encourage them to reach out when they need help? Okay, you get a phone call, or a text message. Wow, I really bombed that test. Okay, student needs help with this. So some students may respond better to, okay, you bombed that test, your butt is at the tutoring center 8 a.m. tomorrow morning to get some help. That may be what your student responds to. Or your student may work best with, okay, what do you think happened and what can help you do better the next time with that? That may lead to a conversation about going to the tutoring center. That may lead to a conversation about taking better notes. You know how to motivate your student to reach out and to ask for that help that they need. So start that conversation now. Again, if you already know your student's schedule, you may see they probably have a math class their first semester. And you know that historically, your student may have had problems with math. Okay, start talking about that now. Hey, you've got a math class on your schedule. Math's been difficult for you in the past. What do you need to do to be successful in that class? Okay, so start talking about these things now, right? Even down to, hey, sometimes it's been difficult to get you up in the morning to get to school your senior year in high school. So how are you going to get yourself up to get to class now that you're living in a residence hall? Okay, down to small things like that. Hey, here's how you do laundry. Okay, don't let it pile up because it's going to be 15 weeks of laundry all of a sudden coming home at Thanksgiving. So even those what seemingly small things, start talking about those things now. Okay, there's going to be a lot of ups and there's going to be a lot of downs, especially this first semester. You are going to get that text or that phone call that's going to say, oh, Grandpa, the worst thing just happened. I can't believe it. Okay. Then you're going to get that text or that phone call. It's going to say, Mom, you will never believe what happened. It's just the greatest thing. Okay. You may get those same phone calls in the course of a week. Okay. Hang in there. Okay. There's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, especially this first semester. So as a family member of a college student, just hang in there and know that there is the support there and that your student can get through this and that we'll help them get through this. They just need to be able to reach out for that help. So that's the main thing to just keep in mind, that they will get through this. The great times will be tremendous, and the bad times, they'll get through those with your help and with our help. It's going to be a great semester, and it's a great thing to have a student going off to college. That is just a quick kind of summary of some of the biggest things that I've noticed about students making the transition from high school to college. Again, my name is Kristi Nies. You see that on slide number 2. You can find my email on the college's website, www.peru.edu. And if you have a pen, write this down. My email is knies@peru.edu. Please feel free to email me with any questions or concerns that you may have, and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to this. I hope it's at least been a little bit helpful. And again, congratulations.